Hey everyone, I'm Tristan, and today I am here to review a book called The Ghost Map. You can get a very awesome look at it. Here's a beautiful look. Shut up, out of focus. And yeah, I personally think it's a really awesome read, reasons why I will get into later in the video. So I guess without further ado, let's go and crack the book open and we'll see what it's about. So what actually is this thing about? Well, it's about how cholera spread in this one town called Soho in London in, like, 1854. And it's for the most stupid reason I think I have ever heard of, like, for something like this to spread. So, you want to know how it actually happened? So, basically, this one mom named Sarah Lewis, she was minding her business, okay? And she changed her violently sick kid's diaper, right? But instead of properly disposing it like any normal person would, alright, she decided, you know what, let's go throw it into a cesspool in the basement. And you want to know where that cesspool led to? The water supply. No, I am not kidding. Anyways, this one dude named John Snow, who is an anesthesiologist of all things, believe it or not, he realized a very unaccepted theory in the medical community, was actually the right one, and he used this cholera stuff as evidence to back it up. All right, and he had to convince the literal board of health, the dude who was running it, Edwin Chadwick, that is very correct theory was actually right. Now, the issue with this was that the entire medical community was basically hell-bent on the other theory, because there was two at the time, the contagion theory and the miasma theory, which the contagion theory is the one that John thinks that's right. It's basically, stuff spreads through some sort of agent, like bacteria, whatever. So what miasma theory is that, simply put, okay, it says bad smells are directly the reason that diseases spread, especially if people have, quote unquote, certain institutions, they're chronically sick or something like that. What? I don't even get how that makes any sense, but I guess that's what the 1850s medical community thought at the time. Alright, and then to make all of this even worse, okay, it's Edwin decided, because the miasma theory was the right theory, which it obviously is not. He decided to take all of the filth, that people, that people dumped all over the place or whatever, and dump it into the local river. What? That's even worse than the last thing I said. Made no sense. So basically, this board of health dude, who's supposed to be responsible for keeping, everyone nice and healthy and, crap like that, he's responsible for the opposite, and thousands of people potentially dying. What? So, yeah, anyways, that's the gist of what happens in the beginning of the book. And I don't want to actually spoil all of it, because that would ruin the reading for you. So, yeah, here's what the strengths and weaknesses of the book are, and I guess what I like about it. Alright, so honestly, the strengths are actually fairly strong with this book. They're awesome. So, it's pretty nice and detailed with how methodical it is, with its info delivery, with how you with actual information, how it's sorted, and also it's pretty realistic for 1850 actually. I was impressed by that. It's awesome, especially in more urban areas, how London and Soho, which is actually a neighborhood, not a city, but whatever, you get it. But then, of course, it also shows how You know, when people have like no understanding of anything they think they do, like how Edwin, you know, thinks the miasma theory is correct, which it obviously wasn't. Uh, you can get a pretty big screw up in society as a whole, which you don't want. You really don't want to screw up in society. But this book shows how that can happen. You know, especially with lack of even knowledge, which, you know, at least Edwin didn't have a lack of knowledge. He just had a lack of understanding. But yeah, that's about it for the strengths, and now for the weaknesses. Oh, the weaknesses, there's only like one of them. And the book can sometimes feel like a little slow, but like a lot of books sometimes feel a little bit slow, so I'm not really going to bash it for that, so you don't lose points for that. Overall, it's better than not. So I actually really like this book, mostly because of it's just interesting seeing how like these sorts of things were dealt with in the 1850s themselves. And honestly, I like how just one entirely simple thing, some mom, throwing a crappy diaper in a cesspool, can completely influence the next 5 years of history with just a simple epidemic. Like, it's like a butterfly effect, and honestly, that's cool as hell. And that's honestly the kind of stuff in general I like seeing in books like these. You know, even better is how John has to convince the literal board of health of why bacteria is spreading through cholera is, very obviously a very, very obviously better theory than smell is causing it. Like, am I the only one that finds it? I think I might be the only one that finds that a tiny bit funny, but, like, I do. So there is that. Anyways, what I dislike. So, honestly, I don't. It's a good book. What can I say? It's a good book. There's basically no dislikes to be found here, though I don't really get the dude walking to the houses with Jon Snow, even though he does interview the family, so I guess it makes it so you get a reason to have empathy, I guess. But I guess that's fine. So, yeah. Alright, so the recommendations I got for this book are reading these two books after or before, whatever the hell you really want. Because if you like the Ghost Map, you'll probably like these two because they're actually fairly similar. You don't gotta do it, it's just a recommendation. So, there's this one book called Rabbit is about rabies, where basically, it's like how like it affects you as a person. And then The Great Mortality is about the history of the Black Death, which, yeah, that's awesome. So, yeah, those are my recommendations after or before the book, whenever you want to read that. So overall, I rate this book a pretty solid 4 to 5 out of 5 stars, And I think if you got time, that maybe you should read it. And, yeah, that was my review on the Ghost Map, and I hope you like it. So, bye.